You're listening to a presentation from Calvary Chapel St. Petersburg. For more audio and video content or other information about our church, visit calvarystp.org.
If you have your Bible, you can make your way to Proverbs chapter 13. Proverbs chapter 13. A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes. From the fruit of their lips, people enjoy good things, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. A sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves. Righteousness guards the person of integrity, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. A person's riches may ransom their life, but the poor cannot respond to threatening rebukes. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. Where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Whoever scorns instructions will pay for it, but whoever respects a command is rewarded. The teacher of the wise is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death. Good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction. All who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy brings healing. Whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored. A longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but fools detest turning from evil. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Trouble pursues the sinner, but the righteous are rewarded with good things. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. An unplowed field provides food for the poor, but injustice sweeps it away. Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. The righteous eat to their heart's content, but the stomach of the wicked goes hungry. So, Lord, as we look at Proverbs 13 tonight, Lord, your word, wisdom for us in everyday life. Lord, I pray that we would use your wisdom to navigate the very difficult things ahead of us, the things that you have in our present, Lord. But also, Lord, that we would become, like it's talking about, the one that's wise. Help us, Lord. We need your wisdom from above. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, a couple points here this evening. First is this, listening to our words. It's really important. A lot of us really haven't figured out this skill. We never hear ourselves talking, but what are we saying and what are we doing and what are we listening to? So that's kind of what we're going to do in that. The second point is this, what words reveal? What do they reveal about us? When we're saying things, are we just neutrally throwing up ideas and concepts? What our words reveal? And the third point is this, what words produce? And so I just kind of took that theme. There's so much in all these chapters in the Proverbs, and so we're just kind of like honing it down on a couple of different ideas here. But what do words produce? I think it's kind of amazing when you think about this first point, listening to our words. It's kind of amazing that God intended us to be able to listen, to think based off of words. Words convey a tremendous amount of meaning and power. They can lift somebody up. A bad word can actually crush somebody. And so what I find fascinating is that language is this really, really helpful tool to be able to do all that. Can you imagine trying to communicate your feelings or your thoughts without words or without language? It'd be pretty hard. It'd be like one big Pictionary or game or something like that, or just trying to draw images like, box, or, I don't even know how you would do that. But what happens with words is that words convey not only meaning, thought, but also context. They talk about things that we're going through. And sometimes what I find out is that words, when they come out, sometimes they don't even come out right. And some of us probably said, hey, I wish I would have taken those words back. Those words weren't helpful in the situation. I think I just poured gasoline on an already burning fire. So words are just kind of these powerful vehicles that can either build up and can tear down, but also what we're hearing and what we're saying really, really matters. So this kind of chapter, as it talks about speech. I mean, it also talks about wealth, talks about longing, satisfied, and so many different other things in this chapter. But what happens? What's somebody that's wise? What marks their life? Well, verse 1 says this: a wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes. Instruction and rebukes here in the context, I believe, is sayings or helping or words that are being used to navigate, to help shape, to change maybe a pattern in somebody's life. So a wise son, what happens? What they do is they listen. They hear the instruction. They take things into their heart. Because why? Verse 2 says, from the fruit of their lips, people enjoy good things. So I think what one aspect of this, and the commentators make this point, is that this is talking about speech. It's talking about what is coming out of you. It's also talking about listening. And so the fruit of the mouth, where are they? The fruit of the lips, people enjoy good things. He's talking about the idea that you can actually build good things with your mouth, which is hard to believe, right? But it's possible. Especially nowadays when everybody's trying to get an edge over other people with words. We also find what he's saying here is that the fruit of your lips, you can actually enjoy good things. But what happens, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence. So what does that look like to be someone that not only speaks things, but also hears things? So another thing that I see here in verse 5 is the ability not only to listen, but to discern the words that we're hearing. Verse 5, the righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves. The wise or the righteous here have an ability to discern what's being said, to listen to it, and say if it's true or false. I think this is kind of a really important thing for us nowadays is there's so many people saying that they're right or that they're true and that you should listen to them or you should listen to this person. For $19.99, you can listen to this person. I mean, there's just so many things out there. And so you're hearing so many different words out there. And what happens is when you hear all those words and they go into your heart, what's true, what's false, what's righteous, what's unwise, what's real wisdom, what's not wisdom. And it can be very challenging to say the least. So what Proverbs is doing, it's saying that, listen, there are words of a fool that are out there. Do you know what those are? And there's the words of the wise. And how will you, when you hear those words, how will you respond to them? What does it speak to you? And so I think while this is such a helpful thing, what he's doing is he's talking about what wisdom looks like. What wisdom, when you hear it and you apply it, when words come out of your mouth, that's a reflection of the wisdom that you've heard and that you've seen. And what do your words look like? Now, I'll tell you one of the keys to do this, to be able to listen to words, which isn't the point. What you have to do, and it's kind of like the thing, how do I know what something's wise or not? The first trick that you got to do to be able to do that is you have to be able to listen. I find that mostly today that people are interested in talking, but they're very rarely interested in listening. It's a kind of an acquired skill, to say the least. So I do quite a bit of counseling and give counseling help to people. And one of the number one things that I hear is, is that people really aren't hearing or listening to the other person. They might say, well, I heard what you said. I don't know what it means. Or I'm not really sure what your words are getting at. See, I think part of the most challenging thing for us as believers is to be able to listen to what somebody's trying to say. And so to listen, one of the things that you have to know, to listen well, is not just like letting the words come into your ears, but a way that you can listen and engage in your listening is by asking questions. So what's happening is people are vomiting words at you, right? You hear all this cluster of words. It might not be coming out correctly or might not sure what they're trying to say or what they get out. What's the tool that we have to bring clarity to that word puzzle or that word conglomerate that they gave us? Questions. See, questions are a way that actually help us to organize our words and organize our thoughts. So when you ask and pose a question, what are you ultimately doing? You're having a conversation with somebody. You're not giving words back as a rebuttal against something that you think they did or did not say. What are you doing? You're trying to listen to understand what they're saying. And so how do you do that? You ask questions. See, questions are this really powerful tool that we have to our advantage. And I think a wise person, they are slow to speak and quick to listen. Why? The Bible doesn't say be fast to speak and slow to listen. It says the opposite. Listening has so much to do with determining what is true, what is false. And also, more importantly, what really is wise instruction? Now, one thing that, like I said, one of the superpowers that we have and the ability to do in understanding words is listening and asking questions. But the other thing, too, that would be really, really helpful for us is to say back what that person is saying. What are the words that they said? Can you hear the words? Can you translate it through your Google AI bot in your head? And then at that point, can you say, what are they actually trying to say? I think one of the things where a lot of us maybe get in trouble nowadays is that a lot of us do a very poor job of being able to communicate clearly. So I think there's a lot of unnecessary problems is because of our inability to communicate. And so I find this in the Proverbs, from the fruit of their lips, people enjoy good things. I think it has to be able to, hey, when they're speaking and what they're speaking about, it's not only clear, it's understandable, right? But there's actually an opportunity to listen to what they're saying. My whole point is that listening to words is more than just hearing sound waves penetrate your brain. What you're doing is you're trying to understand. And that's what he's saying. A wise son heeds his father's instructions. It's not only listening to what the words are, like, hey, don't do this, I want you to go here, don't do that. It's understanding the instructions. If you don't understand something, what should you do? Ask questions. That's like if you were giving something that was a very intricate thing that cost thousands of dollars, and it says on it, read the owner's manual before operating. You're like, nah, I think I got this. Yeah, but if you do it wrong, you're going to break it. Hey, I'm just going to figure it out as I go. That's a terrible idea. Why don't we listen to the owner or the manufacturer that wrote what is supposed to happen with this device? We just want to push all the buttons. I don't know, it didn't work. Refund. That's okay, because we're not listening to the instruction that's being given. So what God does is God gives us instructions. He gives us instructions for living. God, just get to the chase already. Come on. So wordy all the time. And a lot of us, when we listen to God or we hear from him, right, we don't ask any questions. Like, God, what does that look like for me? Help me understand. Because it's one thing to hear the words. It's another thing for those words to actually take root in our heart and understand what's being said. So the first point here, I think it's evident in the text that there's this listening to understand the Father's instructions compared to what a fool does. So are we listening? How do I do that? You got to ask some good questions. You got to clarify. You got to repeat back, is this what you're saying? And if they say, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, now the question will be, what will I do with it? How will I respond to it? So it's one thing that the words give out the instruction, but really for something to thrive, for something to work, you really have to know how to apply the words in a practical way in my life so that actually fruit can abound through it. So this whole part of listening, this is what defines somebody that's wise. The fools also speak, but their fool is based up in their own folly. And how do I know what's true and what's not true? Well, I got to listen. I got to ask questions. I got to say, okay, well, God, what do you say about this? What are your words about these things? What do you desire in all of this? So this is the active part of being a Christian every day. Listening to the amount of words that are being said and to respond. Okay, God, what does that look like for me in my life? Now, okay, so we got to listen to the words. Listen to what's being said. Will I be wise and take the instruction, or I'll be a fool and reject it? But the thing is that I want to say also, the second point is, what do words reveal? So what do words reveal? That's the second point. Well, I think what's happening here in the text is that where words reveal quite a bit. See, when somebody is speaking or they're talking or they're saying things, right, they're revealing something that's inside of them. So I was talking to somebody this week, and they were telling me I just get so frustrated at this individual. I said, yeah, I understand. And they said, I just can't believe I said what I said. Like, where did that come from? Oh, I know where that came from, because it's in everybody. See, words have this other thing. They reveal what we think and what we believe. And when you get pushed hard enough, sometimes those things come out. They reveal our heart. They reveal what's on the inside. One of the things I couldn't help but think about is what Jesus said, or what was said in Matthew chapter 12. You brood of vipers, how can you who are evil say anything good? For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in him, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in him. But I tell you that everyone will have to give an account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken. For by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. I think that's fascinating. So the son listens to instructions and responds. A fool rejects them. So what does it mean to listen? My question is, what am I hearing? What am I listening to? And what do those words really reveal about me? Well, they reveal the things that come outside of my heart. Verse 3, it says, those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. What you say about someone or something, if you're rash just to throw it out there, what are you doing? You're revealing something that's inside. You're using language as a tool, words as a tool to communicate what your heart believes. So words just are a tool, a mechanism to communicate something that you think and feel. I like this from a devotional. It says this, an abrasive tongue, a lying tongue, a foolish tongue, all of these are signs of a person who has resentment, dishonesty, and pride in their own heart. But the irony is this, others will be able to see through your words more of your heart than you will. Recall a time when you had rash words brought you trouble. What in your heart led to it? So one of the things to realize, as it says here in the Proverbs, those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. When you just kind of blurt it all out, right? You're like, I just got to get it off my chest. I just got to tell you that I don't like you. Well, we already know that, so there's no need to tell me that. But thank you for reaffirming something that I already know. But I just got to tell you, you're terrible. Okay, you did it. You did it. Do you want a sticker? What do you want for me to tell you that was great? What he's saying here in the Proverbs is that the words are actually a way for you to communicate what your heart is feeling and thinking. So when you just kind of just throw them all out there, is that really the best thing to do? And you have to ask yourself, why am I throwing them out there in the first place? Did they ask for it? You're like, well, they deserve it. Well, they might. I'm not saying that they might not. But what I'm saying is, here, your words really matter. And see, your words actually are a vehicle, a way, or like a lens to reveal what's on the inside. So think of it like a magnifying glass. The words are kind of like the light that passes through, and your heart's the object. So your words are kind of like, they're coming out like light, and you're looking right into your heart. You're like, oh, that came out of me. So how do I know when I'm saying what I'm saying? Does it really matter? Does it matter what I say and what I don't say? Yeah, it does. Now listen to what James says, chapter 1, verse 26. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongue deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. I mean, that's kind of a fun verse to memorize if you want to memorize one. But what is it saying? Well, it says that if you have an inability to be able to control your tongue, because why? Because the tongue is just, man, there's a lot of things that come out of our heart that we have to say, God, maybe I shouldn't even be saying these things. I mean, we all go through it. We all say, man, I wish I could have got those words back. I wish I would have never, ever said that, but you did. And just think of it. Those are things for us to say, will I learn from the things that I'm saying? Will I take it into me that those words really reveal something in my own heart that God's trying to speak to me about? Now, it's interesting. You might not do this. Since I talk a lot from here, sometimes I wonder what I'm saying. And so what I'll do is I'll go back and listen to myself. And that's kind of fun to do. Right? I don't know if you record yourself in the day and you listen to yourself and you're like, what are you talking about right now? You make no sense. But at times, though, what I've been able to do, and this would be a helpful tool, you can record yourself, or maybe you can get Maybe have your spouse wear like a camera or something so they can record you the whole time, and then you could watch back, and you like watch your face, watch your facial expressions, listen to the words you're saying. You're like, man, do I really sound like that? Do I really